In today's video, I will take a deep look and investigate claims by Khabib Nurmagomedov, and we will discover the real MVP of the UFC. Khabib Nurmagomedov has accused the UFC of setting up the bus attack that took place earlier this year, in which Conor McGregor and his team stormed the Barclays Center and attacked a bus that Khabib and other fighters were on. During an interview with a Russian television station, Khabib said he gives it a 70% chance that it was a setup and that he still has a lot of questions. In the interview, he asks why the UFC told him that he was only allowed to bring a few people with him on the bus ride to the media day instead of traveling with his team as he usually does.
You guys fucking say, oh, only 2 guys at the corner. Oh, because we know this. And how he get 30 guys with him?
Why exactly the bus backed up instead of just driving out? How exactly did Conor McGregor and his team find out where they were in the Barclays Arena? I then read a thread over on Reddit by Hoosier Pride 1 titled Why I Believe the UFC Played a Role in the Infamous UFC 223 Bus Attack. I then discovered that this theory is a common theory out there on the MMA forums as well as over on Twitter. In the Reddit thread, Hoosier Pride made a compelling argument, so I decided to go on a way too deep dive investigation that I spent far too much time on and try to get some answers. I went on a very, very deep dive earlier this year on a poker website called the Winning Poker Network, in which I discovered mass cheating going on with the site that resulted in the players getting refunded tens of thousands of dollars. So I sometimes take these investigations a bit overboard. And after reading these very serious allegations from Khabib and reading the theory that a UFC employee was actually the one who helped Conor and his team get in, I had to go deep on this one as well. Now, the official narrative, according to Dana White, is that Conor McGregor and 20 goons boarded a private plane after seeing Conor McGregor's teammate and friend Artem Lobov confronted by Khabib and his team backstage over comments that Artem made during an interview about Khabib. Conor was so furious that he came over the night before and then timed it perfectly to be at the Barclays Center while they were boarding the bus. Dana says that credentialed members of Conor McGregor's promotional team, the Mac Life, let Conor in a side door at the Barclays Center, and at that point, Conor McGregor and his team located Khabib in the loading dock and then attacked the bus. Now, the theory that I'm reading is that the UFC set this up. They told Conor McGregor where Khabib was, and they initiated the confrontation, and most people seem to think that they were hoping for something to take place, but they were not hoping for a bus to be attacked. Dana White has said anyone who thinks this is staged, it is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. How did we stage this? How could we possibly have fucking staged this? This is real shit. Now, I don't really have a belief one way or the other in this because I think we might need a little bit more information on a couple questions. But I want you guys to take a look at the information and research I've done and make some decisions for yourself. Now, are you ready to get into this? Because it's 9 a.m. I've been working on this video all night long for the past 2 nights, and I'm pretty excited for people to finally watch it. Enjoy. All right, so we're going to start this with a shot of McGregor and his team leaving in 2 black SUVs. Notice the Modell Sporting Goods store right here. This is right outside of the Barclays Center. That's going to be important in a second. Now we're going to go to McGregor and his team walking into the Barclays Center. Notice top left, we're going to see sections 4 and sections 104, just to give some reference on exactly where they're at. Once again, we can see them walk through here. A lot of people around. Looks like a pretty packed place. The media day had just ended at this point in time. So they're walking in right there. And then, so I was curious because Dana White says that they were let in through a side door by the Mac Life people who had credentials. So I was curious exactly where they came from. So we go to Google Earth view here. So once again, this is outside the Barclays Center. We have the Modell Sporting Goods right there, the entrance to the Barclays Center, and then we have the subway right in front of us. Another view, we have the subway, we have the Modells to the left, Barclays Center to the right, and then this Best Buy straight ahead. And then we're going to go to a clip of somebody walking into the Barclays Center. Right there is where the SUVs would have been. Yeah, right here we have the front entrance of the Barclays Center. Notice the Modell Sporting Goods right in the back in the subway. Now we have a video of somebody outside Barclays Center, subway right there, building right there, Modell's going to be in the background right there. This is where the black SUVs would have been. So now we're going to follow this gentleman as he walks into the Barclays Center, and it looks like he's going to walk through pretty much the same door as McGregor and his team, which is basically the main entrance, not necessarily a side door. This is where the media day was being held at, or whatever media event they had for that day. This is basically where things were set up at. So now he's going to walk in here, basically the same route that McGregor and his team took. And then up to the top up here, you're going to see some numbers. Top left, you're going to see some numbers for some sections, and you're going to see the 4, and you're going to see the 104 up there. Basically the same place that McGregor and his team walk in at. So now we're going to take a look at McGregor and his team completely walking in right there. McGregor in the middle being walked in with the guy in the blues kind of pulling him a little bit. Security is going to be here. They look pretty confused. Don't know what's going on. I'd probably be confused too if I was security. And I saw an angry mob walking in. And then in here, they're going to go to the left. And then someone's going to say something and kind of redirect them to the right. And now this is kind of where some people on the internet have said that the sort of the UFC conspiracy starts, and that the UFC is showing them where to go, because this woman right here, it looks like she is the communications director of the London office for the UFC. And one of the duties of the communications directors is to play a key role in athlete liaison, which, from knowing people in my world of poker, basically that means they help the athletes or the poker player get what they need and take care of anything they need. You can also see in past videos that she is right by McGregor when McGregor's doing interviews. So now if we keep looking at the tape, McGregor is going to turn around and say it's something like, "It's this way, right?" And it looks like she maybe directs them. But we don't really know for sure who is walking them through here, directing them right here. And Khabib said in the interview, and one more thing, it was Barclays Center, a big arena for 20,000 spectators. How did they find out exactly where we were? It's for one. For two, when around 20 to 30 furious men entered the arena, the UFC staff didn't ask any questions. Conor wasn't part of that media day. They should have informed this arena security that 20 to 30 men had just entered the building. They didn't say anything. Instead, they led them to our bus. You know, people think that I'm just an athlete, but I'm an educated man. And during 15 years of my career, I've never been knocked out. So believe me, my brain works well. So now, once again, going back to the footage, and like I said, we don't know who is leading them here, now this appears to be the regular loading dock that is used at the Barclays Center. So I imagine if the MacAlife people were there or if someone else was there, this wouldn't be a very hard place to find how to get there. Once again, we see it. They go to the left, and then they're going to be redirected to the right as they're looking for Khabib. We have a couple people recording. I'm not sure if they're part of the crew or if they're just fans, because a lot of fans are around them right now. Once again, you're going to see McGregor turn around, look at her, and sort of ask where to go. Like I said, some people said this could have been a setup with the UFC. This also could have been just something where McGregor was asking her, "Where do I find these people?" And then she was just answering and helping out the athletes like she always does. Then they're going to go over there. They're going to walk away from the elevator and then come back. And you see she's going to shield people off and say, "They're media." And then go into the elevator with them. The next footage we have of McGregor and his team is right outside of the bus area in the loading dock. And now I was curious how hard it is to get from that elevator down to the loading dock. Is there a lot of corridors? What exactly is the layout? Would it be hard to find? Now we're going to go to some footage out there shot by Will Harris over at Anatomy of a Fighter. Shout out to Will, man. He puts out some really great content, some of my favorite MMA content out there right now. Link will be in the description. You guys have to check out his work. High quality stuff. One of his videos from UFC 223 Media Day. So right here we have Khabib and his team entering the Barclays Center for the Media Day. We're going to go upstairs and we're going to see that the media event is right there in that main entrance, which we showed you a little bit ago. And then also right here, you're going to see Khabib walk on a stage. You're going to look up to the top left. You're going to see the section 4 and the section 104 up there in the corner. The same place that McGregor and his team are going to enter past earlier. Khabib's going to face off here with Max Holloway. To the right here, you're going to notice UFC security, who will become a part of this story here in a little bit. Right here, Khabib and his manager having a discussion right in front of that same walkway sign right there. And then they're going to be walking to the elevator to go downstairs. Right here, they're in the elevator with the UFC executive. So now they get downstairs, and we can't actually see much of the walk there, but it appears that it isn't a very straight shot from wherever this particular elevator is. Looks like there are some hallways, a bunch of things. I imagine if you are McGregor and his team, you could ask someone, where's the loading dock? And probably someone's going to answer you if you're yelling and like a madman. There could have been someone from the Mac Life told him where it's at. Maybe they have experience here in the past. Maybe the UFC person, he asked them where it was, and she guided them there. We don't necessarily know for sure. But then right here, we can see the team loading up to the bus. So now we go back to the bus, and as they're attacking the bus, we'll go to something Khabib said. He said, if you watch the footage, you can see the bus almost gets to the gate, and then suddenly it stops and pulls back. Why? If you see some people are attacking a bus, then you should keep moving and get outside. But then you stop and pull back. Why? For me, there are a lot of questions. I don't know whether the UFC made it all on purpose or not. So I'll actually explain how the Barclays Center loading dock works. As basically it has a rotating platform here in the middle, and it looks like it has 2 elevators for trucks and for cars. And what happens is, to be able to get out, you have to pull into the elevator first. That elevator brings you up, and then you can drive out to the street. So right now, basically what the bus has to go forward in order to back up into the elevator. Now, a couple questions I've seen out there being asked. How long was the bus waiting? How did McGregor and his team time it perfectly? Why exactly would they want to confront the bus rather than just confront Khabib and his team if they were already in town? One theory is that the UFC wanted to set up a showdown between Khabib and McGregor. People talked about there being all the professional cameras there for the embedded and cameras inside the bus. So we had Will Harris from Anatomy of a Fighter shooting inside the bus with Khabib, as well as multiple other cameras there recording for the embedded footage. Something interesting to note is after the bus was attacked, you can hear Khabib's manager Ali say this inside the bus.
Brooklyn, I'm with the ref. He's in the Barclays Arena. Barclay Arena.
Conor fucking threw a chair. Conor threw a chair. Why you don't say Conor threw a chair?
No, they're
dolly.
White.
The dolly. He cooked the dolly, bro. You guys fucking say, oh, only 2 guys in the corner. Oh, because we know this. And how he get 30 guys with him?
Right through the door right now.
He come here.
This guy.
This also matches up with what Khabib said during the interview when he said, I had a team of about 20 men. We had a bus just like that, hired for us to go to the gym, press conferences, all the media activity and so on. You know what's interesting? On that day, the UFC told me that on that media day, I had to arrive alone. So I was traveling with all the other fighters who would fight from the red corner. I was in the red corner as well as a favorite. With me, there was only one person from my team and my manager. Now, when we take a look at the footage, we can see there is one clear MVP who needs a raise from the UFC. I'm not 100% sure on what this man's name is. I could not find anything for sure on the internet, but he was the same guy that was at the face-off earlier. He almost stops McGregor from attacking with the dolly. As McGregor is attempting to throw the bike rack in the way, he steps in and stops it. McGregor picks up the metal garbage can, for some reason sets it down, and then picks up the plastic garbage can. Once again, he's right there to stop him. Near the end, McGregor goes with a chair, and he's going to be stopped once again by the security guard. And I recognized this guy from somewhere, and it dawned on me that this was the first guy when Khabib jumped out of the ring. This was the first guy there to break it up. He was one of the guys that dragged Khabib back. And then also he was in the ring with McGregor and would be one of the guys that was handling McGregor. So whoever this guy is a badass. And I would be happy to have this guy doing security for me on anything in my entire life. Now, when we take a look at the bus attack, it's honestly kind of a strange scene in that there really is only 1 or 2 aggressive people out of all these goons, as Dana White called them. You have McGregor going crazy. You have his man in the green, didn't get the memo that everyone else is kind of supposed to just stand around. McGregor tells them, break the glass, and my man in the green throws a chair and then almost gets into a fight with one of the securities that's doing his job pretty well. So from what it seems like, you got the main security guy running around, stopping everything. You have one other security guy really going crazy as well, too. But for the most part, it's just a bunch of people kind of standing around observing. And in my opinion, without the main security guy there, this could have been 100 times worse. If all these guys were really gooned up and going after the bus, this bus would have been attacked pretty hard. So I guess the question that I would have is that, is it a normal thing for Khabib to only travel with a small part of his team? Because if you look at any of the footage of Khabib, he's always with about 20, 30 guys pretty much going to everything. They all travel as a team, as brothers. And if you watch the statements Dana White made directly after the bus attack, it doesn't really seem like this is a guy whose the master plan was to set this up in action. And to be honest, I can see an argument for both sides out there. I'm sure the UFC would have enjoyed a peaceful confrontation if these two would have had it, but I can't imagine that they would ever expect McGregor to go nuts and attack the bus. And you even have Dana White in multiple interviews talking about, was this guy on drugs? And we know what the aftermath of the bus attack was. McGregor was arrested. He was not charged with anything. He was not suspended at all by the UFC. Something interesting to note is that Dana talked about how the MacLife guys let them in. If you look at the MacLife YouTube channel, you can see they put out continuous UFC content up until that day of the bus attack, and then there was no UFC content up until fight with Khabib was officially announced. So it does look like they were not covering any more UFC events after that point in time. So you guys out there, let me know what you think about this. Was it an inside job? Was it something that just took place? Could something else have been done? Did you pick up on something, or have you found more information out there that I may have not have found? Let me know in the comments below. It'll be interesting to see if Khabib decides to push this topic any further, as it is clearly something that's on his mind and something that he is very concerned about. I also want to say that if anyone out there has any contacts for the UFC, can you please get in touch with me on my Twitter or my Instagram page so I can potentially get in touch with them to ask them some questions about what content I can use or not use in my YouTube videos so that I do not get any copyrights on my videos, please. Because my main goal is to just create some content that answers some questions for people out there that they have. And I can do that using a number of different footage. I could do that with only photos, only articles. I don't have to use any videos that are going to get me in trouble at all. So much love, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace out and take care.